Well, hello, I am Kevin John, and welcome to this ABC10 Plus special previewing the high school football playoffs. That's right, it's playoff time in the Sac-Joaquin section. Each playoff team is coming off a bye week, as last week's action were full of bowl games featuring teams that did not make the playoffs. Each division in the Sac-Joaquin section will have an 8-team bracket. This is the first time the Sac-Joaquin section will conduct the playoffs in this format. Now, all Sac-Joaquin section championship games will take place at Sacramento City College on November 28th and 29th. Okay, let's get this thing started by going through the first round matchups in each division. We'll start in Division 8. Now, this division is 8-man football. The Miraloma Matadors are the top seed with a 9-0 record. They'll face the Valley Vikings, who are finished 3-7 in the regular season. That game will take place at El Camino High School. The Delta Saints of Clarksburg come into the playoffs as the 4th seed. They'll face the 5th-seeded Valley Christian Lions from Roseville. The 3rd-seeded Vacaville Christian Falcons will host the 6th-seeded Encina Bulldogs out of Sacramento. Now, the Forest Hill Wildfires enter the playoffs as the 2nd seed and will face the 7th-seeded Florin Panthers. Now to Division 7, defending section and state champion Somerville Bears. They will look to repeat in Division 7 as the 3rd seed this year. The Bears will face the Rio Vista Rams in the first round. The Calaveras Redhawks are the top seed at 8-2 and will face the 8th-seeded La Grande Bulldogs. The 4th-seeded Mariposa County Grizzlies will face the 5th-seeded Denair Coyotes. The Stone Ridge Christian Knights out of Merced are the 2nd seed. They will face off against the Linden Lions. Now in Division 6, top-seeded Sonora, another team defending their state crown. The undefeated Wildcats begin their title defense against the Wheatland Pirates in the first round. The 4th-seeded Woodland Christian Cardinals face the 5th-seeded Bradshaw Christian Pride. The Ripon Christian Knights, as the 3 seed, will host the Amador Buffaloes. The undefeated Liberty Ranch Hawks out of Galt enter the playoffs as the 2 seed and will host the Ripon High Indians in the first round. Now to Division 5, the Casa Roble Rams are the number 1 seed and will host the Oakmont Vikings in the first round. The Lincoln Fighting Zebras host the Lathrop Spartans in a battle of 9-1 teams. Now, last year's Division 5 runner-up, the Sutter Huskies, begin their playoff run as the 3rd seed and will host the Rosemont Wolverines. The 2-seeded Hillmore Yellow Jackets will host the Rio Linda Knights. As for Division 4, the undefeated 12 Bridges Raging Rhinos lock up the top seed and will host the Fairfield Falcons in the first round. The Raging Rhinos are looking for a repeat in the division. Now, in the 4-5 matchup, the East Union Lancers host the Placer Hillmen, the defending Division 5 champions. The Houston Huskies moved up a division this year. The 3-seeded Huskies will host the Pioneer Patriots. Then the Roseville High Tigers, the number 2 seed in the bracket, they will host the Escalon Cougars. Now, in Division 3, the 9-1 Wood Creek Timberwolves out of Roseville are the top seed. They will host Destiny Christian Academy in the first round. The 4th-seeded Vacaville Bulldogs will host the 5th-seeded Rio Americano Raiders. The Vanded Vikings out of Fairfield, who are last year's state champions, they will head down south as the 6th seed to take on the 3-seeded Merced High Bears. Last year's runner-up, the 2-seeded Oakdale Mustangs, will host the Ponderosa Bruins out of Shingle Springs. Now in Division 2, well, there will be a new champion as last year's winner Grant has moved up to Division 1. The 10-0 Manteca Buffaloes are the top seed in Division 2 and will host the Tracy High Bulldogs. The 4th-seeded St. Mary's Rams out of my hometown of Stockton will host the Jesuit Marauders. The 3-seeded Del Oro Golden Eagles out of Loomis will welcome last year's runner-up, the Rockland Thunder, to their house. The Granite Bay Grizzlies enter the playoffs as the 2nd seed and will host the undefeated Cesar Chavez Titans from Stockton. And last, but certainly not least, here are the Division I matchups. The Folsom Bulldogs headline the bracket as they enter the playoffs as the number 1 seed and look to win their 5th straight section title. The Bulldogs welcome in the Downey Knights from Modesto in the first round. Now, I mentioned earlier that the Grant Pacers moved up to Division I, so they will have the 3rd seed and will host the Edison Vikings from Stockton. The 4th-seeded Monterey Trail Mustangs will host the number 5 seed, the Inderkum Tigers out of Natomas, and the number 2-seeded Oak Ridge Trojans out of El Dorado Hills will welcome in the Central Catholic Raiders out of Modesto. Now, after going through all of those matchups, we'll take a look at one of those games for ABC 10's Game of the Week. Here's Matt George with the preview.
It's playoff time around the Sac-Joaquin section, and of the many massive games on Friday night, the rematch of the Inderkum Tigers and Monterey Trail Mustangs is taking center stage.
Every time we play them, it's always going to be a real good football game, and definitely a game fans should really love to go watch because it's going to be a really good football game.
All the way back in week 1, the Tigers lost to the Mustangs in a hard-fought 27-22 battle. Inderkum picked themselves up, learned from it, and didn't lose for the rest of the season.
After that game, it just boosted us, and we didn't want to feel that feeling again. We know what we have to do. We went in there first game of the season. We felt that environment. We know how it is. So if we just do our game plan and do what we have to do, we can come out with a victory.
Monterey Trail went 8-2 in their regular season, featuring 4 shutout victories. Their defense is the real deal, and nobody knows that more than the quarterback who has to face them every day in practice.
I just got to say props to our defense. I just got to give them a lot of respect because we wouldn't be able to do it without them. But hopefully we can carry that momentum into this game and just keep it going.
But the Tigers have faced this defense before. They're used to being the underdogs and proving doubters wrong. They've been doing it all year.
I don't think anyone thought we'd be 9-1. We're super young. We graduated, 26 or 27 seniors last year that were all top-level guys playing in college. And so I don't think a lot of people thought we'd be where we were, and this team's definitely grown and matured and become a brotherhood. And I'm excited that we get a chance to be in the playoffs.
Now Monterey Trail will have the home field advantage they've earned.
It gets me pumped up and gets the team excited. So, that is pretty fun, just going into opposing teams' home and taking over.
Fear the veer. That's all I got to say. We just do what we can, focus on our mental toughness and our physicality, and Lord willing, we'll be able to be the winners on Friday.
All eyes will be on the matchup. Now, ABC 10 is looking forward to being out there on Friday. All right, now it's time to look back at the best moments from Bowl Week. Like I mentioned earlier, these games feature teams that did not make the playoffs, but that didn't stop them from balling out. Here's last week's highlights, starting with West Park versus Pleasant Grove. We're kicking things off with our ABC 10 Game of the Week, heading to Roseville, where the West Park Panthers are hosting the Pleasant Grove Eagles out of Elk Grove. We'll pick this up in the first quarter. West Park in the red zone. Jaden Jackson hits Tanner McSweety. And look at the juke. Oh, man. McSweety, don't do it to him. He gets there for the touchdown. West Park just getting started. Later in the quarter, Jackson hits Isaiah King across the middle and grabbed those Lysol wipes because this play was straight filthy. King was juking and moving and grooving. 80 yards to the house. Are you not entertained, people? That Panther offense, all gas, no brakes. To the second quarter now, Panthers in the red zone. Jackson Hannon throws a short pass to Declan Schindelbauer. Declan gets in for the touchdown. I can watch West Park's offense all day. All right, later in the quarter, how about a little razzle-dazzle? Jackson throws it back to Hannon, who then throws it to Jackson on the screen pass, and he's got nothing but blockers in front of him. He nearly takes us the distance. What can't Jaden Jackson do? This game, all West Park, they go on to shut out Pleasant Grove 33-0. Congrats to West Park on ending their season with a bang. Well, despite missing the playoffs, the Franklin Wildcats had a great season, compiling a 7-3 record. But on Friday night, they're going against a team who knows a thing or two about playing tough competition in the almighty Sierra Foothill lead. We're heading to Whitney High School in Rockland, and we had a battle of the Wildcats as the Whitney Wildcats hosted the Franklin Wildcats. May the best Wildcat win. Now, right when we walked in the stadium, Whitney scored a touchdown. Even though I missed the touchdown, I got to something better. Every time Whitney scores, this guy does 7 push-ups. All right, to the game. Franklin ball. Braylon Robinson with a short pass to Javon Harper. And just like a teen running home on a Friday night to make curfew, Harper's going to run this all the way almost to the house. Actually, Harper didn't make curfew because he was tackled inside the 5-yard line. Didn't matter, though. A few plays later, Robinson connects with Harper for the touchdown. Those two are a dynamic duo. Now, later in the first quarter, Whitney claps back. Cash Stevens takes the handoff, and I'm just going to call him Cash Money because he nearly takes this the distance. He was brought down inside the 10-yard line. A couple of plays later, Easton Tarble is going to take the pitch, and Easton, he ain't stopping until he reaches pay dirt. Whitney would take a 13-7 lead, but back comes Franklin. To the second quarter now. Robinson, man, his air game is something nice. Don't believe me, just watch. He passes this, and look at the over-the-shoulder catch by Mason Town. Oh, you fancy, huh? Now later on the drive, Town in the Wildcat formation, and he says, I'll just take it in myself. He runs this in for the touchdown. This was just a 1-point game at the end of the third quarter, but Franklin would score 24 unanswered in the fourth to win this one 52-27. Franklin wraps up their season at 8-3. Congrats to Franklin on wrapping up the season with the dub. Now next, we have two teams who wrapped up the regular season below 500, but don't let their records fool you. Both Elk Grove and Vista del Lago are must-see TV on the gridiron. We're heading to Elk Grove High School where the Thundering Herd welcome in the Vista del Lago Eagles out of Folsom. Both teams looking to end their season on a high note. We'll pick this one up in the first quarter. Vista del Lago ball. Jack Cromwell takes the handoff. And word of advice to opposing teams, if you try to tackle Cromwell, you will most likely end up on his highlight reels. He's more evasive than 5-year-olds in Brussels sprouts. He gets there for the touchdown. Vista del Lago is on the board, but Elk Grove will clap back. Here in the second quarter, Chase Dyer going deep. And like a good neighbor, Mark Toledo is there. And Toledo will take that in for the touchdown. Elk Grove would take a 21-7 lead. But you know you can't hold an Eagle down for long. Later in the quarter, Vista del Lago ball. Jack Cromwell takes the handoff. And just like people running to the dinner table for Thanksgiving in a few weeks, Cromwell is going to run this all the way to the house. Give that man seconds. Vista del Lago comes back to win this one 38-28. All right, we're going to keep this show going. I'm not tired yet. The Sacramento Dragons were one of the few teams who concluded the regular season with a winning record, but missed out on the playoffs. But Friday night, they're going against the Nevada Union squad, who's hungry for a victory. We're heading out to Grass Valley. Give it up for the world-famous Nevada Union Marching Band, making it funky. The Miners welcoming in the Sacramento Dragons. We'll pick this one up in the first quarter. Sac high ball. LeBron James Radcliffe hits Demarie Taylor across the middle. And Taylor, you could throw the deuces in the air because he gone. Dragons would take an early 7-0 lead. And James Radcliffe just warming up later in the first. He throws an absolute dime to Demarion Boyd for the touchdown. Sac High would race out to a 21-0 lead. But here comes Nevada Union. In the second quarter, Brandon McCollum takes the handoff. He takes this up the gut. And the Miners are on the board. Later in the quarter, Miners strike again. It's deja vu. McCollum takes it up the gut again for another score. Nevada Union ain't going down like no punks. They would come back and make this a game, but Sacramento able to escape with the 35-34 victory. What a game, I tell you. Congratulations to all of our teams who won on Bowl Week. What an exciting time in high school football. Can't believe the playoffs are already here. Time flies when you're having fun. Now, you can watch us every Friday night at 11 p.m. for highlights from all the big games. Of course, we'll also have highlights on ABC10 Plus, our free 24/7 streaming app where you can keep up to date with sports, news, and weather. I'm Kevin John. I will see you next time.